Tonight, BBC Radio Manchester with the Four Seasons at very nearly 11:10. Hello, good morning. I'm Andy Crane, and you're about to meet a man who might help you if you've got kids or grandkids who use the internet and you find the world a bit scary and a bit intimidating, or frankly, you're just not interested because, you know, we're a generation, I'm part of a generation that understands how it works, but there are parts of it that I'm just not bothered about being part of. But maybe I should, because I have teenage daughters, and Colin McKeown's here from a Bolton firm called eSafe Education. Hello, Colin.
Good morning.
It's fairly apparent in the title what your company does, eSafe Education. So it's about being cyber aware and cyber safe.
It is indeed. It's about protecting the children as they're using computer technology, but more importantly, educating them and making them aware to how they can use that technology and be aware of the threats and the concerns that could be raised whilst they're actually getting up to speed.
And we're talking about the kind of Facebook sites, the Bebos, the social networking sites and MySpaces, things like that?
Yeah, and where they're using chat facilities when they're talking to their mates. So it's about the fact that we've spent a long time pushing them in the house because we're scared of them being outside, and suddenly we've given them a mechanism which they can talk to all of their friends all the time.
And now we're telling them to get outside, aren't we?
We are indeed, so it's a bit of a turnaround.
So is it? Like so many things, when things go well, we don't hear anything about it. When they go wrong, it makes national news. A girl is bullied on the internet, takes an overdose and dies, and everybody goes, oh my goodness, cyberspace is so dangerous, and shuts all the computers down. It isn't that. Is it a safe place if you know how to tread? I don't want to be alarmist to people who are listening, you see what I mean?
No, it is. It's just like when we were taught about the Green Cross Code. You actually had to learn to walk across the road in a safe way. Roads are dangerous, but given the right education, right support, they understand exactly what they need to do, and therefore, most of the time, children will be safe on the roads. So
eSafe Education educate kids, but they educate parents too, don't you?
They do. What we do is we try and make sure we raise awareness through a lot of materials and activities with schools, where we go to schools and coach parents after school to be aware of the challenges that are there, but don't be frightened by it. You know, it's a great technology to be able to let children learn and get resources and really increase all the skills they're going to need to actually work in life. It's nothing different to what it was 20 years ago when you would say to them, be cautious who you talk to, don't talk to strangers, understand who you're talking to. It's just now putting in a set of rules and processes in what they do as they start learning how to use technology.
The scary thing about the internet is that people can pretend to be somebody they're not. So a 35-year-old man can pretend to be a 15-year-old girl and you can't see him and make the difference.
That's true, but you've got to remember that children are also pretty savvy. What they're able to do is set up their own set of rules. For example, some children we work with, they're actually say, well, actually, we know straight away if we see somebody on the internet and they've only got a couple of contacts and they've no pictures, then we're going to diss them and switch them off.
They can't speak the lingo either, because I can't speak 14-year-old. I have a 14-year-old and I try, and it's excruciatingly embarrassing for her, which is why I do it, clearly. But I can't. I think I would be sussed straight away. So your safety prison, it's education. Is it also software? Is there stuff people can install? I rember things called Net Nanny and stuff like that, but I'm sure it's moved on a bit since then.
Well, it has, and those technologies are still there. They monitor what's actually being filtered on the internet, which is a very good technology within schools, but more and more children are getting savvy at how to get around those things, and certainly those facilities aren't in place at home. So what we're working with schools to do now is to turn it on its head a bit and actually open up systems slightly in school to actually educate them how to use them. So take those life skills that they're learning in school into the home and hopefully then protect themselves as they actually use and utilise the internet for all the benefits.
So, for people who might not get to one of your seminars or briefings, or for kids listening, basic tips for people listening now who've got kids or grandkids who disappear into the bedroom or maybe the office or the lounge or wherever and are absorbed by that little screen for hours and hours.
Basically, try and get the computer back into a public area within the home. Try and make it an involved activity, even with the older ones who say, you're not seeing anything I'm talking to on there. Because the fact is, if there are behaviours that are going on that look out of character, the body will reflect it. You know, children, some of the challenges that my colleagues in other part of the businesses have found when they've actually unfortunately had to assist police in prosecuting paedophiles is the fact that children feel safe in their room. So therefore, when they're encouraged by a third party to possibly be a little bit daft with a web camera, and then that gets to more serious issues, the fact is they feel safe and secure. So, educate
they're in a secure environment at home, of course.
They feel they're safe. They don't see the other side of the computer screen or the other side of the camera. Also is the fact that raise the awareness by actually spending some time going onto the websites such as Think You Know or to the CEOP site, and they've got guidance for parents. It's actually in very plain, simple English, just to explain what is actually there, what the threats are, and actually put it into a balance of how you would understand how to protect your child.
And for kids/teenagers who are listening, aside from the sinister stuff, what you post and what you put up there on your Facebook page and stuff. I mean, I tease kids, people who I know who are younger, going, you know, that picture of you absolutely blotto on a Saturday night. You know, in a few years' time, when you're a senior solicitor, somebody's going to look at that. But there is an element of that, isn't it? You put in your life history, and the world can see it, and it might come back to bite you in the backside, mightn't it?
It does. I mean, one of the things of the research we've done at eSafe Education is actually finding the content that actually comes through, that even in a monitored system, actually is quite unsavoury, that gets through. Things like pen drives, mobile phones. The memories in the mobile phones is phenomenal, and people think nothing of taking pictures and then whizzing them around the network. Well, of course, if they're in an intense relationship, you know how quickly relationships can go from good to bad. And of course, immediately you've got a resource or a material there that you can use against somebody else. Not to mention, it could get posted then as being malicious content, and therefore you're into a real bad level of cyberbullying, which can go to all kinds of extremes if unchecked.
Colin, thank you for coming in. So the message is, be aware of what they're doing, and you can find out how to be aware and to how to be, you know, conscious and help the children and make sure that they are in a safe environment, and more importantly, that you know that they are in a safe environment. Colin McKeown from eSafe Education, thanks for your time.